You know, yes, do you know? If it wasn't for a person that was born in 1832, actually I could go back further than that. I could go all the way back to 1700 something, but just for the sake of something I found interesting, this person born in 1832 was Benjamin A.W. Pearson. This was my Russell's great-grandparents. Wait a minute. That's gotta be, let's see, Russell's grandparents. No. Russell's parents. No, that's not my parents, that's my grandfather. Okay, they're talking about my dad. Okay, that makes sense. Well, what I'm saying, if Benjamin A.W. Pearson, born in 1832, he had 2 children somewhere around 1860, 1859, 1860. When the Civil War broke out in 1860, whatever, but when the Civil War broke out in 1860, he joined the Confederate Army in Virginia. He was killed in Richmond in 1862. He was a Confederate veteran, but he had those 2 children before that happened. Now, Benjamin was my great-grandfather. And had he not had them 2 children, I wouldn't even be here. That whole leg of my Pearson family that came from him would have never happened. Would have never happened. But Benjamin, he had Charles B. Pearson, which is my great-grandfather. And Charles B. Pearson had my grandfather, Luther Pearson. Luther Pearson was my grandfather and my daddy's dad. And Luther Pearson went on to have 10 children. That was my whole leg of the Pearson family. So had it not been for that Benjamin Pearson in 1832 being born and lived long enough to produce children, I wouldn't be here. Now, of course, I could take it all the way back. I could go all the way back to, let's see, how far back can I go? I can go all the way back to 1687, when William Pearson was born. That would have been my 5th great grandfather. William Pearson and Mary Marsh. That's as far back as I can take it. I thought, no, it's not neither. I can go all the way back to, I can go all the way back to 1670. John Pearson, born in 1670, died in 1769. Dang, he almost lived 100 years. John Pearson. Now, I got some hints from him. I don't know what they'll be, but I'll take a look. But yeah, it just makes me think that how a lot of young people maybe they don't mean it bad, but they kind of look at old people, old folks like me, they kind of look down their nose at us like we are useless, we don't know squat. They do. And some of you may be guilty of that. But I'm here to tell you something. If it wasn't for us old folks that you look down your nose at, you wouldn't be here. Maybe not me specifically, but us old folks, we were what made the world tick back in our younger day. We kept things going so the rest of you could be here today. And you best not forget that. I mean, a friend of mine used to say, Russell, we had our time. When I used to say, I wish I could do it over again. She'd always tell me, Russell, we had our time. Well, yeah, I guess we did. Still can't keep me from wishing I could do it over again. Would I have been a lot smarter if I could do it over again? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, if it wasn't for what we were doing back in my younger day, you might not be here. I mean, today I was at the VA hospital, and my doctor was sitting there, and I said, Doc, tell me something. Is most of the patients that come into VA old people like me? And she said, yes, pretty much. But there again, us old vets, some of us can't even get up out of our chairs. Some of us can't walk like me, you know. We got all these different ailments. We're old. Some of us are feeble. But by gosh, back in the day, back in the 60s and 50s, when I was going in the service and everything, we were the line. We were the line between, you know, we were the line that kept us separate from, back in my day, it was Russia. We were the soldiers. And we had to take an oath and all that. And the way I feel about that oath we took, I'm still under that oath. That never does. There's not much I could do now. But that oath is still good. I didn't see any kind of combat when I was in the military. Closest I ever come to combat, I think, is when that cotton picking Berlin Wall went up in East Germany. We didn't know what was going on. Well, y'all knew it before and the civilians knew it before we knew it. All we knew was alerts come out, and the whole base that I was on had to go on alert status. We had an alert area we had to go to, which was up on top of a mountain. And we stayed up there for several days, not knowing what, nobody telling us nothing. We were just following orders. But we had an idea it was something to do with Russia, and it was. But was I scared? Hell yeah. Yeah. But if some kind of conflict had started or something like that, I would have done my part. But that's old folks is the biggest reason some of you younger people that looks down your snoot at us, you wouldn't be here. Or if you was here, you'd be under a totally different set of circumstances than you are now. I'm very patriotic. I believe we're the greatest country in the world. Sometimes I wonder, I look at some of my friends and my grandson and my daughter, they got these student loan debts. There's actually countries, and I can't recall which ones it is yet, but there's actually countries that if you want to go to college, you can go. It's free. All you got to do is go. But here, like my grandson wanted to be a radiologist. Now that's a doctor that reads the x-rays and stuff. And his decisions is life or death decisions. It takes 12 years to become a radiologist. 12 years. And my grandson was looking at student loans for them 12 years. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. He couldn't do it. Now he's working as he's looking at a physical therapist tech. He can become a physical therapist once he has this one more degree. And he's going to college right now for that other degree that he needs. But he's not using student loans. He's paying for it as he goes now. And he's having it really hard right now, paying for that, paying for their regular expenses and stuff, him and his wife, or well, she will be his wife. But yeah, he's paying for it. He don't want no more of that student loan. I think it should be just like elementary school, middle school, and grade school. That's free if you want to go to public schools. I think it should be the same thing for a college education. But it's not. It's not. I think it's something taxpayers should have to pay for because, well, if it was free school, free college education, taxpayers would essentially be paying for it. We're paying for the primary education, high school education. We're paying for that. But there's some countries that do that, and they're not big, mega-sized countries like the United States is. But there's several countries that do that. Also, a lot of people have kicked me in the butt for saying this. I honestly think we should still have the draft. I honestly think, I think that every healthy male citizen of the United States should have to do at least 2 years of military service. And if you don't volunteer, because actually when you hit 18, you could volunteer for 2 years. That used to be the way it was. You could volunteer. You go in for 2 years, you're out. I think everybody should have to be part of that. It's a good experience. And I mean, this day and time, there'd be a lot of celebrities and stuff that would kick and scream on that. But I'll tell you one celebrity that was drafted and he didn't kick and scream about it. He went and he done his 2 years. Should I tell you who it is, or do you already know? But he done his 2 years. He didn't complain and whine about it. He didn't run off to Canada. And as far as some of these people that are running off to Canada and stuff, I think there should be some kind of law or something that could be enforced where if you're an American citizen and you're of military age and you take off to Canada to keep from going, I think there should be a law that could bring you back to do your time. Now, I know a lot of people can disagree with that, but that's just my thoughts. I think, because we got so much in this country that a lot of people don't think about. We got so much, and we got so much because of our military. When I was in the military, there was a draft. You could either volunteer for 3 years, that's what I did, or you could volunteer for the draft. And if you volunteer for the draft, you only go in for 2 years. But we're so fortunate in this country, and I don't know if it's going to last or not. I've got my doubts. But then, to tell you the truth, I don't think a lot of Americans have the backbone to step up and defend this country. I don't I mean, when the war broke out, World War II broke out, there was just droves and droves of guys lining up. They were lining up to get in the military, knowing they're going into combat. I don't think you would see that now. It makes me sad to think that. We've got so much, and we don't even think about why or how we got so much. I mean, I ain't got 2 dang nickels to rub together, but by gosh, if I wanted to go out tomorrow and travel, I can do it if I had the money, of course. Just a lot of things you can't do in a lot of countries. Look at North Korea. Those citizens, they can't go out somewhere else. If they want to take a vacation and go to Paris, France, they can't do it. He won't let them. And, there's other countries like that. China's not as strict as North Korea is. But they have restrictions. Because I know a lot of Chinese people. When I was in the conference to rehab, I had a tech. She was Chinese, and she was about 23 or 24. And somehow or another, she made it to the United States, and she's planning on being a citizen. But she wouldn't trade life here for what she had in China. Sweet, sweet lady. But yeah, we got so much. We got so much. And I don't think we appreciate what we've got. I just wish we was more appreciative. Oh, I see what's wrong. I see what's wrong. Well, crapola. There. That's what's wrong. Didn't even have my light on, for crying out loud. Sitting here yapping. How long have I been talking with that light on? 22 minutes. But no, I'm very patriotic. I don't have I can't say I don't have a lot to be thankful. I got a whole lot to be thankful about. When I went to the doctor today at the VA, I get out there in my wheelchair at the head of the steps. I stand up, I work my way down the steps to my walker, walk over to the car. Donovan helps me get down in the car. Jennifer's driving the car. We go to the doctor. Donovan and my daughter, they're taking me in the VA. They go up there to the desk and tell them everything. They take her all out, and then we sit there, and then somebody calls my name, which I can't hear. They take me into my thing there. They listen to the doctor. They talk to the doctor, and I ain't got a clue what they're talking about. I can hear a little bit better now because I got this other hearing aid in my ear, so I can hear a little bit better. So I've got a whole hell of a lot to be thankful about. I could be sitting in some room somewhere all by myself. I couldn't be talking to you like this because I wouldn't have no internet. I couldn't afford it. I may even be in a VA home or something. So I've got a lot to be thankful, especially my family, my daughter and my grandson. And Donovan, you know, my son died in 1986. So me and my wife was pretty much alone because Jennifer, in a couple of years, Jennifer went to some kind of, I forget what they call it, Job Corps or something. I don't know, or something. But she was gone. It was in Kentucky. She got up there and got her butt pregnant. She come home, had that baby in, let's see, his birthday is, I forget what month it is. But anyway, in 1990, Donovan was born. So, all of a sudden, we had a baby at home. My daughter went back to school up in Kentucky, and we had the baby, which is Donovan. And Donovan, I feel so sad for him because he has no knowledge of any biological aunts, uncles, cousins, or any of that thing. All he has knowledge of is his dad, his biological dad. His name was Pete Hobby. But that's all he has. His dad come down here to visit one time when he was 5 or 6 years old. And his dad got mad and left, he said, because Donovan didn't treat him like a dad. Well, that's the first time he had ever seen him, and he didn't know him from Adam. And that was the last time he seen him. Well, his dad went back up north. His dad was a bad person. He murdered somebody. He was tried, convicted, and sentenced to death. And he was executed. So that's the only memory he has of his dad. So I'm basically the only thing closest to a father he ever had, which I'm his granddad. And I did a lot of stuff with him that I didn't do with my son. I spent 14 years in the Boy Scouts with him. So I did a lot more with him than I did with my own son. I wish I could do more now. But he is pretty much my caregiver. He has cerebral palsy, and he really gets grouchy and grumpy sometimes, but it's part of what's wrong with him. But that's just him. I accept that. And if he heard me holler, what was I hollering about? Oh, it was that second time I pooped in my pants. And I was hollering for Jennifer. Well, Jennifer didn't hear me, but Donovan heard me. Donovan come in here, went and got Jennifer, and they took care of me. But I love that boy. I'm just sad that he has that cerebral palsy and he doesn't have a normal life as far as things you normally do. He's 33 now. But he's my baby. He is my baby. And he takes care of my money. You know, like when I say takes care of my money, my tip jar that people can leave me tips in, that's in Donovan's name. I got booted off of PayPal for a reason I wasn't going through now, but but I can't get on a PayPal account. But Donovan's got one, and that's what my tip jar is on my page. I actually get the money. Donovan transfers it to my bank anytime it hits. But he's my baby. But the other two of my they're my babies too. But Donovan and I got more to go together that we did together. But yeah, folks, I am patriotic. You may disagree with me about some of the things I say, and I may slip up and misspeak about something. If I recognize it and realize I did, I'll admit it and apologize, but for the most part, I'm an old fart, and there's people, if it wasn't for me, wouldn't be here today, namely my kids and my grandchildren. But us old folks, we did our part. We kept the world going as we grew older. And now you're here, and some of you look down your nose at us like we don't know nothing. Well, we must have knew something. You're here. Anyhow, that is my story today, and I appreciate all of you so much. I've been jabbering a lot. I still ain't got my battery charger. I'm waiting for the money to show back up in the bank on the card so that I can order me a battery charger again. I'm so upset at Amazon right now about that. But it is what it is. Can't do nothing about it. I reckon that's my story today, and I'm sticking to it. I will see. I don't know if she's going to go to the food bank tomorrow or not. She might be. I'd like to go. She might not be. Anyhow, that's my story, folks. I'm sticking to it. See you in the next one. See ya. GoPro, stop recording.